We'll be doing another beautiful visit to the thoracic spine today. That's like the theme of the week, is the T-spine, which is really really put under a lot of pressure these days with so much technology work. It's really the time for the T-spine, and this should really help. So take a comfortable seat. If you're cross-legged or side sit, make sure that you have that natural curve in the lumbar spine when you do sit up. And if you don't have that, sit up even higher on another blanket or a block. We are going to be playing with the strap today, even if you have a belt from a robe or something like that. And if you don't, you can always just use some of those principles without the strap, but we'll be using that later. So let's come to a seat comfortably with the thighs dropping towards the earth, and begin to turn your attention inward. And close the eyes so that all of the visual distractions around you take a back seat for a while, and begin to turn your attention to your breath. I'm suggesting a mudra today, which is a hand position, so you can join me in the backs of the hands on the thighs. And then your ring finger bends towards the palm of the hand, and then the thumb comes on the back of the ring finger. And place the backs of the hands just resting on the thighs. This is a mudra for the solar plexus, and since we are visiting our thoracic spine, let's also put our mind to the front of the ribs on the other side of that spine, the sternum. As we breathe, we'll notice the rising and falling of the belly and the chest. Everyone's breath will have a different pace, a different quality, but that steady energy of the breath is that rise and fall, that filling of the lung space, expansion and release. And I also suggest a cleansing breath, Ujjayi, which is breathing in through the nostrils on an inhale. Pausing on the exhale, you can breathe out of the mouth. It filters out debris or toxins. Inhale through the nose, filtering energy, and exhale through the mouth. Breathing through the nose will have a natural filtration to those lungs, so when they get there, the air is a little cleaner. And exhaling. As we bring more consciousness to the breath, notice the rising and falling of that rib cage. So when you inhale, you might notice just a natural lift of the ribs and a natural lift of that sternum. A little lift, it's a micro lift, but it's a lift. And then on the exhale, you'll notice it falls. Just bring your mind's eye to that lifting and falling of that energy as you fill the lungs, and then empty them out. In your subsequent breaths, you can even begin to slightly micro-exaggerate that feeling. So as if there's someone behind your heart, a hand behind your heart as you inhale, and noticing that gentle lift. Kind of a little back bend in that mid-spine, and then exhale. So when you inhale, a natural rising of that sternum will bring a slight back bend into the thoracic spine. And then exhale, you'll notice the spine straightens out a little bit. We have so many pathways for the breath to take into those lungs, so let's give that extra attention today. And as you continue that Ujjayi breath, notice the sound of your breath. Perhaps the breath sounds like waves on the ocean, or any soothing sound of a breeze in the trees, the forest. And keeping the eyes closed, take your fingertips beside you. As you press through the fingertips, feel a lift through the spine. And on your next exhale, take your chin over towards your left shoulder. Keeping your eyes closed, just paying attention to that internal workings, the mechanism, the top of the spine, and then come through center, the chin forward again, and then exhale, take the chin over the right shoulder. Come through center again and explore to the left again. Following the easy breath, and then follow it over the right shoulder again. And come forward, so your chin's facing forward, and now tuck your chin towards the heart, so towards the space between the collarbones. Press through the fingertips and feel that extension through the back of the neck. And then the chin comes up, and lift the chin towards the sky. And exhale, bring the chin down to neutral. And then gently flutter the eyes open. And then lift the fingertips off the mat. Take our arms into a T, feeling the length extending out from that rib cage, but then also bring the shoulder blades a little closer together so you keep those shoulders engaged and the shoulders roll away from the ears naturally with your relaxed breath. Take the palms forward, facing forward, and then let's come up to cactus hands, cactus arms. And we'll glide through our shoulders a little bit here, closing the forearms together. Press the palms together, and then open those palms like a book. Look at the elbow creases, and then lift the elbow creases up towards the sky. When you've reached your limit, open up the forearms like a curtain, and then come back to cactus. Through cactus, nice and easy, bring the elbows to the ribs, and then close the forearms towards each other and lift up again. Inhaling, exhaling as you open the curtains, and then close towards those ribs. And make this nice and gliding action, feeling those shoulder blades against the ribs on the back body. Great. And now bring the fingertips down, and we'll switch to child's pose so we can bring that awareness into the back of the lungs. Also, if any of these poses are uncomfortable for you, you can just take something alternative. But for the child's pose, knees bent, I suggest something behind your knees if you have any knee issues. Or you can just lift up higher off the heels. So cushion the knees with a blanket, and we'll take the knees about hip width apart, take the big toes together, and then just slide the hips back towards the heels. Bring your third eye between the eyebrows down to the mat, or you can also bring them down to a block so that you don't have to bend as deeply. If there's any issues with the lower back or any osteoporosis or anything, I suggest you could take your head to that block. And then reach out your fingertips long so you're extending through the spine. We're growing some length into the spine here by reaching forward towards the top of the mat. You can even take your fingers into spider fingers, lift them up, and then pull backwards towards the back of the mat and just feel that extension. Inhale and exhale. Really nice.
And then we'll walk those spider hands over to the right. If you've got that forehead on the mat, just keep it there, nudge it along. And so we're on that side bend to the right. Notice as you breathe, fill the back of the lungs. So we can do that later when we come up to vertical positions. Use that inhale into the back body to really inflate and float. And then exhale, release, feel that drop towards the earth. And then walk the fingertips towards the middle and then walk them over to the left. And as you do this, notice you want to anchor through the hips so that the hips are not sliding or pivoting too much, just staying steady. Exhale, come back to center. And we're going to do a child's twist from here. So you can lift the head up and lift the rib cage up just a little bit. Take your left palm, put it beneath your face, and have the palm up. And now you're going to thread that left palm underneath your right armpit, and you can lift your hips off your heels a little bit and keep the left ear on the floor. The hips, again, are going to be pretty steady here and not swaying side to side. You can take those spider hands on the right fingertips and then gaze under your left armpit. So you're twisting through the ribs towards the right. And the head is relaxed. The gaze is relaxed. This is early in the practice, so go easy on this twist and unwind. And then we'll take it to the other side. So lift up a bit, take the right palm beneath the face, and then thread it under the left armpit, taking your right ear to the floor, gazing under that left armpit. Spider hand, walk those left fingertips up towards the top of the mat. Continue your beautiful Ujjayi breath, filling the back of the lungs along that back rib cage. And then unwind yourself here and come back briefly to child's with your forehead on the mat. And then we're going to come up into cat from child's. So let's point that tailbone towards the earth, curl up through that lower spine, navel goes up towards the sky, curl up through the back of the ribs. So lifting up. And then we're going to transition to a knee plank. So take your hands forward a few inches and then slide the hips forward, nice and long, crown of the head to the knees. And you can take the tops of the feet to the floor and feel that length and feel the strength in your shoulders, which are going to engage by squeezing down those armpits towards the rib cage. And then slide back into child's. So you're feeling this flowing undulation here through the spine, lift up into cat again, and then coming into that strength of knee plank. And then slide the hips back one more time. We'll take a nice fluid trip up into cat, lifting especially between the shoulder blades. Notice that energy between the shoulder blades, they separate out as you come forward and then squeeze towards each other again into knee plank. And now we'll do our locust series. So I've done this before, but what we're gonna do is keep those elbows close to the ribs, and we're gonna do our push up towards cobra. So we're in the knee plank, crown of the head long, keep the elbows towards those ribs as you bend the elbows and bring the chest and the heart towards the floor, nice and controlled arm toning. We're going to end up with the forehead on the mat, and your hands are next to the shoulders. And then through, so you're going to reach your tailbone down towards your heels. Press those feet into the floor, the tops of the feet. Pull back with your hands and like a cobra, lift up through that back rib cage. And then gaze up. You'll start to extend through the neck. But the important part is to not take this bend in the lower back, bend in the mid and upper back. Exhale, come back down. Take the forehead to the mat. And then take both arms long next to the ears. And we're really making, again, fingertips always down to the toes, nice long through the whole body. Inhale the head up off the mat and lift the left arm up off the mat, and then the right leg. Inhale as you lift up, exhale as you go down. And then we'll do the other side. Lift the head up, the arm, right arm, matching the left leg lifting. And then exhale down. Take the palms down and then slide them towards your shoulders again. And we're going to try to come up through knee plank. Now, if you want to come up more snake-like, that's okay, but I encourage you to challenge, keep your elbows towards those ribs and push up, keeping your spine as long as possible. Awesome, just did a push-up, kind of, sort of, backwards. And then bring the hips back to child's pose. And then curl up through cat. And then bring us back to knee plank, and we'll take a trip down there one more time. Elbows in, bend the elbows. Bring the heart down to the mat and the forehead. We'll come up, curl up into a cobra. Pull the fingertips down, point the tailbone down towards those heels. So you're nice and engaged in your core as you lift the ribs up. Inhale, curl up like a cobra. Exhale, back down. And then we're increasing the mobility of our spine the entire time. Bring the forehead down to the mat, improving just the connection of the breath and the spine. Take the arms long next to the ears. And let's lift everything up. Let's lift the head up off the mat, the arms and the legs. Hold it here. Locust pose. Exhale, bring everything down. Forehead to the mat. And then on your next inhale, we'll lift up everything up. And toning through that long core. And then we're going to swim to our favorite destination. Let's paddle the hands, the arms, and the legs. I would probably be paddling across the Atlantic to visit you guys if I had my choice. Let's keep swimming. Breathing and exhale. Take the left ear or right ear to the mat and just take a moment here to connect with the breath. And then take the other ear to the mat. Again, connect with the breath. And then take your hands beside you, beside the shoulders. Come up through knee plank if you want to challenge yourself again, keeping those elbows close to the ribs, and we're going to change to a seated pose. So take your blanket and sit up on the edge of that. We're going to go into Lord of the Fish, which is a twist. And very important to keep yourself elevated here under the sits bones, just so that you keep that posture. Because what we're doing here is we're improving our posture by adjusting the thoracic spine. So we want to make sure that the lower spine keeps a nice posture too. So to begin with, take a seat on the edge of that blanket and take your left leg, fold the left leg in front of you. We're taking a side sit just to begin with. And then we're going to take that, support the right thigh as you take the right foot and bring it in front of the left knee or to the side of the left knee. And as you do that, notice that your hips probably are uneven, and that's okay.
Take the fists right beside the hips. Press down into the hip, press down to the floor, lift the hips up, just shake it out a bit. And then when you're placed down, you might be a bit more even through those sits bones. So again, let's take the hands to the lower back and just check in on that alignment, that you have the lower back curve and then the sits bones are even. And then take your hands to the front shin and just pull back on that towards the back body and just, towards the back of the room, and notice you can use that leverage to lift up and sit up even taller, grow about 1 millimeter taller. And then let's lift those cactus hands up again, cactus arms, great. And we're gonna gaze forward before we twist. If you have any issues with spinal, like osteoporosis or anything, don't go as deep into the twist, okay? But just keep the hands up in cactus to begin with. And we're gonna use the strength of those lower ribs and the core to twist towards the right. As you twist the ribs, look forward, because that'll keep the neck out of it in the beginning. Just turn the ribs and the hands and the arms, and then the gaze over the right fingertips. Swivel back through center, and then we're going to go to the left for a counter twist, gazing forward, and then feeling as if someone's helping those ribs turn to the left. Then you can gaze over the left thumb and ease with your cleansing breath back to the center. Now you can take the hands down and we'll take that supported twist with the hands. But since we've used our core strength, we're just using the hands for a little bit of help. Inhale, with the fingertips beside you, grow taller. And exhale, let's begin to twist to the right. Look to the front to begin with. And then take your left hand to the right shin and see if you can support yourself with the fingers on the right hand behind you, and then look over the right shoulder. This is Lord of the Fish pose. A great classic. Come back through center on an exhale, and we'll counter twist. Take the left fingertips behind you. Grow tall on the inhale, lengthening, and exhaling accentuates the twist. Look over the left shoulder. I probably looked too soon myself. Look over the left shoulder. And you'll feel this twist come back to center. You can feel this on that right hip flexors, all those nice walking supportive muscles. Okay, now take your fist beside you and see if you can use as much core strength as possible to switch to the other side. So release the legs and then fold the right leg in front of you and support the left leg as you take the left foot in front of the right knee or to the other side. Here we go with our asymmetry again. Take the fist beside you, lift up, arm strength, and then sit down. And as even as possible. In my case, I'm just going to put my left foot in front of my right knee. My knee's been a little bothersome lately, so I'm going to be nice to it. Take the hands to the front shin. Use that leverage to grow taller. And tap into that core strength as you lift the arms up into cactus. We're going to turn to the left. So as you look forward, turn the ribs, the sternum, and the shoulders, and then look at your left thumb. Swivel back through center with your breath. And then we'll take the counter twist, looking forward, ribs, sternum, shoulders, neck, and then look over the right thumb. Come back through center, and then we can take the hands down, walking the left fingertips back. On the inhale, we get that length, and on the exhale, we twist. And you can take your hand to the front thigh. Come back through center, take a counter twist, right fingertips behind you, left hand to front shin, and gazing over the
back shoulder at that last moment. Nice, connect to the breath as you come back to center, unwind the legs, take them out in front of you just slightly and shake out the knees. And then we'll fold those knees under as we come towards a downward dog. So take the blanket to the side and we'll start in all fours moving toward downward dog. So the hands are going to be in front of you slightly, so not just right, not with the wrists under the shoulders, but just a little forward. Take all those fingertips and activate all of them, the full length of your fingers, and point your index towards the front of the mat. Curl the back toes under and pressing through your hands with nice straight arms. Lift the hips up and take the rib cage to the thighs. And here we have bent knees. So we're just being kind to those hamstrings and we're going to bring the right heel towards the mat, straighten out that leg as much as you can, and then back up, alternate with the left. Pedaling the feet as you press through the arms. Again, feel the connection to your shoulder blades that are sliding down your back towards your hips. So not hunching up, no rounding. We're just keeping those shoulders supported as we pedal the feet. Beautiful. And then if you can, come up on your tiptoes and see if you can descend both heels towards the mat together. But if they don't go all the way down, that's okay. You're still getting a nice hamstring stretch and a lengthening through the spine. And now walk your hands towards the feet. And hang the head down. If you have any back issues, I suggest coming up to a flat back so you're not in such deep forward bend. But you can also just drape the spine down and look upside down. And then bend the knees, take the hands to the hips and keeping those knees bent, just breathe into that back body, inhaling into the back of the ribs, float that back up to a horizontal and then hinging at the hips up to vertical, to standing. Nice. From here, I'm going to have you try on this thoracic jacket, which if you have a strap, you can grab that. It's a little bit of our arts and crafts moment here, or fashion, whatever you want to call it. But you'll take your strap or belt and just take the half point and hang it down so that it's split in two like that. So then I'm going to turn around and show you. I'm going to take the middle of that halfway point, just below the shoulder blades. And then I'm going to wrap that around to the front of the body. So while we're here, just take both hands on that strap and just see if you can take those low ribs and just connect in with the strap behind you and just activate. You're activating that deep core muscle when you do that, stabilizing the rib cage. Okay, release that. And now you can take these straps like a backpack and just put them over your shoulders, just watching, folks. Yes. Okay. Now is a little bit of the tricky part, because what you do, it's going to look like this. So I've got this strap behind like that on the horizontal, and then these are vertical. So I'm going to grab both these straps and then I'm going to crisscross them. So then it looks like this. So they started out like just like this, and I'm going to crisscross them and hold on to those straps. So it kind of looks and feels like a backpack from here. And it's a nice way for you to just connect that you can lift those shoulders back a little further, that you can actually pull them back a little further. But at the same time, when we just press that lower ribs in, press those in as if you're pressing into that strap and you've got a lot stronger posture there. Now, just for the fun of it, you could also tie this in the front, just leave it there while we do our warrior. So just kind of a fun thing is to take poses with that supported thoracic jacket like this. So it looks like this in the back, that horizontal, and then the X, and then I just wrap it around. This is super informal, a way of doing it, but it's a really nice just reminder. So on that note, let's come to the back of the mat. So you've got the length in front of you. And we're going to, from mountain pose, from a nice strong mountain pose, full footprints, imagining the light coming up between those arches of the feet and shining upwards to the middle of the body. So that whole middle of your body is activated and keeping you in that stable core. Let's take the right foot forward. So we're stepping forward as if we're walking. Strengthen that right tower as you come forward, so you're not collapsing into the right hip, but just keeping it supported through those strong glutes. And we're going to lift the left knee into a right ankle. So lifting up, keeping the weight on the right side, lift up. This is our nice balancing pose of the day. If you've got your thoracic jacket, you should feel a little taller and more supported. Exhale, let's release that weight down, but not all the way. Keep the weight on the right side as you reach that left leg long, point the foot behind you and just kind of tiptoe it back, and we're coming into a warrior one. So there's some adjustments that will need to be made. So you're going to widen your right foot stance out a little bit and maybe widen the left foot. I'm going to give you two choices here, which is to plant your back foot so that it's at about a 45-degree angle, or you can curl your toes up like this, keeping the heel off the floor. You can see me do that here. That's straight left leg. And now we'll gracefully go down with our pelvis descending down, bending the right knee towards the two toes, lifting the arms up simultaneously as we come into a warrior one. You can lift both hands towards the sky or come into clasped hands with the index finger pointing upwards. As you settle into this pose, connect with your feet. They'll pull together energetically. Your hip bones are pointing forward. So we're on that forward plane. And you want to point your tailbone down, activate a strong core as the lower ribs tuck in, and you've got that shining heart forward, supported by this thoracic jacket. And then sweep the arms down towards, take the hands to the hips, and then we'll tiptoe the back foot forward into a mountain pose. And now walk, if everything's clear behind you, walk backwards to the back of the mat. Now we'll take the left foot forward, so stand strong, step forward with the left. And then with that strong tower on the left, you're going to bring the right knee up into a right angle, and just check that your hips are not hiking up and down, but just nice and even. And then release towards the floor with that right foot, slide it back along the floor, point the toe and reach back towards the back of the mat. So that's also activating that glute on the right. And then begin to settle that foot down or up with the toes curled. And then we're going to inhale and exhale and bend the left knee and adjust so that the pelvis can come down towards the floor. Pointing the tailbone like an arrow, lift the arms up on the inhale and exhale, release into the pose. Steeple hands or just reaching upward, feet connected, hips forward, relax the gaze, take the regal warrior stance. Connect with that audible breath. Tall heart, supported back, and then sweep the arms down to the hips, hands to the hips, tiptoe forward into mountain pose. And we'll walk to the back of the mat. Great, now let's try it again. So take the walk forward, the right, knee bend towards the front and the left side. Slide it back to the floor, reach back toward warrior one. Be slow, be deliberate, and try not to over effort. That's really not a good thing for quieting the mind. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to hips, step forward. Walk solidly back. On an exhale, step forward with the left. And then we'll bring the right knee up. And then reach back with the right leg. Solidly planting that right foot down. And nudging downward, you'll adjust the front foot, bend the knee towards the middle two toes. Arms go up. Warrior one. Sweep the arms down, hands to the hips, walk forward. Turn yourself to the right so that you're looking forward and that your mat is a long ways beside you. And then we'll take off that thoracic jacket, so untie it if you had it on. Place it to the side and just notice, by standing in mountain pose, just notice a difference as you close the eyes. How does that feel after having the shoulders supported and the ribs? Maybe your breath has changed or shifted a little bit. And now open the eyes. We'll come into eagle arms and eagle legs. Eagle pose. I really like this effect on the thoracic, on the back and unrounding the back in eagle. So let's start with the feet. So take the hands to the hips and we'll bend the right knee and slide it over in front, like that foot in front of the left foot. And you can just kickstand that foot over next to the left. And let me just demonstrate from the side so you can see me bend, and then sweep the arms out to the side in a T. We're going to take eagle arms, right under left. The right leg is on top of the left and the right arm is under the left. So we've done eagle arms, so I know you guys can take those, tapping into that center. The important part is to pull the pull the shins together and pull the arms together in the center, and then hinging at the hips, sit back in an imaginary chair. You can keep that right toe kickstanded, or you can lift that up along the left shin. But please take care of that left knee as you keep it aligned with the toes and behind the toes. Sit back, balance. Keep your gaze on something still. Stretching through those rhomboids, the back of the lungs. Inhale into those lungs and float yourself up to standing and unwind back to mountain pose. Let's take the other side. Take the weight into the right foot. Slide the left foot on the other side of the right foot. And open up arms into a T, left under right. And then bend the knees, sit back. Your core is supporting you. Maybe lift the left foot along the right shin, but keep them very connected and pressing inward, reminding you of your center, strong center. Follow your breath, your face, release, unwind. And then just shake out momentarily. Let's try it again on your own, with your own cues. And I will just breathe with you. Begin in mountain. When you've finished the balance, come to the bottom of your mat. Nice job. Congratulate yourself on that balance, and then inhale, take the hands to the hips, hinging at the hips. Breathe into the back body, and then exhale, release everything down, the heart, the shoulders, the head. Bend the knees. If you have lower back issues, bend the knees. Bring the fingertips down to the mat. And then you can hang the head down and just relax the neck. If you'd like to straighten the legs, you can do that, or just keep them bent. And then you can take your fingertips over towards your left foot. So on the right side, or the left, let's try on the left. Then let's walk over to the outside of the left. And then walk through center to the right. Come back, walk the hands out toward our downward dog again, with the fingertips, index fingers pointing towards the top of the mat. Maybe the hamstrings feel a little more flexible this time. Pedal the feet again. Keep the feet hip width apart. Noticing where is the rib cage here, how this affects your breath. And then bring the knees down to the mat. And then slide underneath, so we'll roll over onto a bridge position. Soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent. So we're bringing our sternum into a different position, facing upward and reclined into bridge. This will definitely have an effect on the breath, so just notice that. Take the soles of the feet towards the glutes and see if you can reach the back of the heels with your fingers, taking the arms along the mat. And keep everything down there like the knees and the feet hip width apart. Take the arms to the mat and just press the entire length of the arms to the mat, which will roll your shoulders away from the sky, so towards the earth. And then lift the hips up, hip bones pointing upward, lift them up, strong through the glutes, strong through the feet. And now from here, as you press the arms into the mat, see if you can bring your hands towards each other and clasp the hands together. So when you do this, your shoulders will roll underneath you even more, and the sternum reaches towards the chin. So look up towards the sky, keep your neck safe as you look upward, and just bring that sternum towards the chin, changing the shape of your breath. Pressing through the entire length of your arms. Release the hands, and then using that leverage from your whole length of the arm, snake the spine, bone by bone, down to earth. Feel the back of the ribs touch the mat. Skip the arch in that lower back, and then the sacrum will settle down nicely onto the mat. Beautiful. Let's bridge up again. Inhale, lift the hips up. And from here, just because we've gotten so solid in this, I'm going to challenge us to the one-legged bridge. So let's see if we can take the weight into that left foot, lift the right leg straight, make it straight, bring it back down to the mat, take the weight into the right foot, and then lift the left leg strong, nice and long. And then come down. See how steady you can keep your hips as you do this. Pressing through the arms, see if you're trying to collapse, bring those hips up, left leg long. Try this again. Go down lightly with your foot to see how light you can keep yourself. Of course, the breath will help that buoyancy. Those feet down, and then snake it back down to earth. Bring the knees together, the feet wide apart, and take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close the eyes. Rest in easy pose here for a few breaths. Reconnecting to that Ujjayi, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We've cleared some path for our breath. We have increased some capacity in the lungs. Mobility in the spine, and facilitated more effective breathing. Feel that rise and fall. Beautiful. And then gently flutter the eyes open. Then take the knees towards the chest. Give them a little hug. Take the sacrum down, bringing that relief to the lower back. Nice. And then bring the feet down again. And we're going to cross the right leg over the left. So if there's like knee troubles or anything, you can just do a regular twist. And again, not too hard, over efforting into the twists. Make it nice and gentle. So, but if you want to join me in our eagle twist, take the right leg over the left and take your left heel down towards the bottom of the mat. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a counter twist to begin with. The weight of your right leg is going to bring your left leg over towards the right hip. So just an inch or two, you'll feel that stretch on the left hip flexor, so the left hip adductors. And then come back up, your left knee comes up towards the sky. And then you're gonna use that leverage of your left heel to come over onto your left side. Roll over onto your left side, your right knee comes down to earth. So you want to rest that on something. You can even use a block and land it on the block, but have it settle onto a surface. Take the palms together, arms long, and slide the right hand along the left arm and take the right hand to your heart. Appreciate that open heart, beautiful energy forward in an inhale. On an exhale, take the elbow over to the right. Turn the ribs over to the right. And look over the right shoulder and look at the right elbow and unfold that arm into a T arm. Long, so you feel that connection between your right fingertips and your left fingertips. And then pressing through your left arm, bring yourself on an inhale deeper into the twist, and exhale, settle and melt. The pelvis is steady. Got contact with that right knee on the floor. Sweep the right arm up towards the sky, feeling that length, and then bring the palms together. And then reach your right fingertips beyond your left fingertips. And then back to the palms together. And now roll over onto your back. Unwind the legs. Inhale, take your left knee up. Exhale, cross the legs over. And then slide the right heel towards the bottom of the mat and keep that heel on the floor. And now just take the weight of the left thigh, the left leg, to bring the right knee over, just over to the left a little bit, so you feel that stretch on your right hip, the side of the right hip. And then back up, right knee comes up towards the sky, bridge up, and we'll take ourselves over to the right. Take the left knee down on the floor. Arms out long, palms together. And then take your left fingertips along the right arm. Left hand to the heart. See if you can connect the energy of that heart, both behind the body and in front of the body, and in all directions. And then take the left elbow over towards the left. Feel the ribs rotate. And then open up to T arms. Pressing through your right arm, that will lift you into that twist. Reaching long through your left arm up towards the sky. Bring it back to your right palm, and then reach out a little bit further beyond the right palm, and then back. So that that shoulder blade slides along the rib. And then roll over onto your back, unwind the knees, and then settle in towards our resting pose. Take the legs out long on the mat. You can take that blanket underneath the arch of the neck to give yourself a nice supported neck. Settle the back body. Feel the contact of the back of your head. Shimmy those shoulders underneath you. Feel the rib cage, the contact, the back rib cage onto the mat. Open up the arms long away from the body, about 8 inches, and then have the palms facing up towards the sky, in a receiving position. Lengthen the body. If it's any discomfort in keeping your legs straight, you can put a blanket underneath the knees, keeping that lower back protected. Close the eyes. You can turn the head side to side. Settling in. Quieting the breath and quieting the mind. Take a moment to survey the body, sending nice relaxing intention to any places that are still
have lingering tension. Pay attention to the details. Use your breath to quiet those areas. Come back to the simplicity with the breath. The abdomen rises and falls. The rib cage expands and releases. The natural rhythm takes over. Facilitating the natural processes of the breath, bringing new energy to the body, cleansing any waste energy, just leaving it behind. Everything will flow effortlessly with the breath. Feel everything soften with the breath, the body, the legs, the arms, the torso, the neck, and the face, the crown of the head, the scalp softens. Allow the breath, the calming breath, to calm your entire nervous system. Paving the way for an easier day, a calmer night, harmony of mind, body, and spirit. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bring mobility back to the limbs. Bend the knees and roll over gently onto your right side. Help yourself up to a seated position. Bringing the hands to the heart, acknowledging the wonderful healing we've just done today together around the world. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.